All right, so we are going to be talking about inequalities today and how to graph those on a number line and how to solve them. So, in order to graph them correctly on a number line, we're going to use an open circle. Hold on a second, let's wait for my pen to work. For less than or greater than signs. We're going to use a closed circle for less than or equal to or greater than or equal to signs. Okay, I'll show you what I mean in a second. So for example, in number 1, it says x is less than 3. So I want to represent that on a number line. And so remember, if it's a less than or greater than, if there's no line underneath it, we need an open circle above 3. So an open circle above 3. And the arrow, as long as x is in front, that tells me which way to point my arrow. That's a crooked line. Let's try that again. Okay. So that graph represents x is less than 3. So in number 2, we can represent x is greater than -1 if we put an open circle above -1 and point my arrow to the right this time. So that means that all of the numbers greater than -1 are going to work for that expression. Now for 3 and 4, notice that there's a line underneath the symbol. So we have a greater than symbol or greater than or equal to symbol in number 3, and we have a less than or equal to symbol in number 4. So that means I'm going to use a closed circle on both of these. So closed circle above 7, color it in, and my arrow is going to point to the right because that's the way this is pointing. Now in number 4, my closed circle is going to be above -5, and it's going to point to the left. Okay. Now for 5 through 8, we're going to kind of do the opposite. We're going to write the inequality based off of the given graph. So here in number 5, I have x and my circle is on -2. Okay, so I just need to decide which symbol goes in between the x and the -2. So my arrow is pointing this way, so I know my arrow points that way, and it's an open circle here at 2. So that means that I leave it open. I do not put that line underneath the less than. Okay, so in number 6, I'm comparing x and 4 because my circle is on 4. And my arrows are pointing this way. So I know it's greater than, but it's also greater than or equal to because that circle is filled in. And then number 7, x is less than or equal to 0. My circle is on 0 and it's closed. It's also pointing to the left. And number 8, x is greater than -3. It's an open circle at -3 pointing to the right. Okay. Now let's work on some solving inequalities. Okay. So I put my line down my symbol just like you would an equation, and I'm going to solve this the exact same. Okay. Notice that my sign stayed a less than every single time. But up here, I'm going to go back to this for a second. You must switch the inequality symbol when you multiply or divide by a negative number. Right? So the last thing to do on this one, on number 9, is to graph it. So I normally like to put the -2 in the middle and then work my number line down from there. Okay, so here we have open circle at -2, and our line is going to move to the left. Okay, now on number 10, I'm still going to solve this. Subtract 2 from each side. Oh, not 3. X over 6 is greater than -3. Then we're going to multiply by 6 on both sides. X is -18. Now, look, I did not multiply by a negative number here. I multiplied by a +6. So I'm going to keep my greater than symbol. To graph it, I'm putting -18 in the front. Okay. Open circle. It's pointing to the left. Okay. Still solving. -7x is less than or equal to -7. Divide by -7 on both sides. So when I divide by this negative, that means I need to switch my sign. It's not less than or equal to anymore. It's greater than or equal to. Okay. Closed circle because it has a line underneath that greater than symbol. Here we're going to multiply by a negative number. So again, we need to switch our sign. It's not going to be a less than anymore. It's a greater than. And -8 times 3 is 24. Oh, sorry, -24. Open circle points to the right. Okay. Keep subtracting 3. Let's keep going. Here I'm dividing by a negative number. So I need to make sure that my sign switches from a less than to a greater than. Okay. Remember, to get rid of a fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. That way those cross out. 6 times 4/3. I'm just putting that in my calculator, and I got 8. Same thing here, we have a fraction. We're multiplying by this negative 6/5. So our sign is going to switch this time. Put that in my calculator to get negative 18. When you're subtracting, you do not switch the sign. Technically here we have a -1 in front, so I need to divide by a negative. Since I'm dividing by a negative here, I do need to switch the sign. Here I'm multiplying by a negative number, so I'm going to switch that sign to a less than. Last one. Sorry I'm going so fast. School's about to start. Here I'm multiplying by a -2. Notice that the division by -2 is underneath the x and the plus 11, so I have to get rid of it first. So I have x plus 11. I multiply by a negative number, so I need to switch that less than to a greater than 4. Last step, I need to subtract 11. X is greater than -7. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions.